What is one thing from your profession that everyone should know? Replace your roof before fixing the interior. If you see a leak starting in a drywall ceiling, poke a small hole in it. The water will drain instead of spreading and causing more damage. Pro tip: tie a piece of string or twine around a nail or screw and push it into the drywall seam where the leak is to create a hole, and dangle the other end of the string down into the bucket. This lets you collect multiple leaks with one bucket, and you won't have to hear drip, drip, drip all night, as the water will travel down the string and into the bucket even at an angle. I'm a lawyer. If you've got a problem, collect evidence. When you testify during the lawsuit, your word means little. You may lose the case due to lack of evidence supporting your side, regardless of what actually happened. I've seen good people, including my own clients, lose cases where I had no doubt they were in the right, just because they had nothing to show for themselves except their own say-so. The way you overcome this is by getting evidence while the problem is happening. Get people to put things in writing, including even yourself. Even if you just take down notes, and put the date at the top, and put them in a drawer, that's a lot better than nothing. It makes sense. Memories get foggy as time goes on. Take notes, get things in writing, and hold on to everything. It'll pay off down the line. Locksmith here. Most locks are not complicated and they will not protect you or your valuables. Lock picking shimming is so easy you can teach it to an 8-year-old, and I have. Mortician. When you get cremated, we don't just open the retort and sweep a pile of ashes into the urn. When we cremate someone, the body is actually reduced to bones. The bones are then put into a grinder. The ashes you get are not really ashes, they are ground up bones. Also, when we put the remains in an urn, we place them inside a thick plastic bag with a zip twist tie and an identification tag. All those movies where people knock over urns and cremains go everywhere doesn't happen. Drives me insane. Janitor. The antibacterial solution you get in the stores will not kill all bloodborne pathogens. You need to bleach the frick out of whatever it touched. Wildlife rehabber. It's totally okay to touch a baby bird to put him back in his nest. Birds don't really have a sense of smell, so the parents will absolutely not reject him, even if he has your scent on him. On the other hand, leave baby rabbits alone even if the mama isn't around. Chances are she just didn't do a very good job of hiding them and will be back later. Taking baby rabbits to a vet or rehab is often a death sentence as they don't always thrive even with the best of care. I work in a reservations call center for a hotel and previously worked at the front desk of a hotel. Always ask for upgrades. When I worked front desk, I could easily upgrade you to a suite if we had one available. No loss for us as it would be sitting there empty anyways. At my reservations job now, we are able to adjust pricing, give free perks, etc. I'm not saying to rip into us and say, well, give me free crap number, but always ask if they can do anything special for you or if an upgrade is available, especially when you check in. If a creditor charges off your debt with them, but only sends it to a collection agency instead of suing you, never pay it. The moment you make a payment, the counter restarts and it stays on your credit for 7-10 more years. If you fricked up, just learn your lesson and then let it go. It does more damage than good to your credit score to start trying to make good on it 5 years after it's been charged off, when in 2 more years it would have just dropped off. Also, if someone has filed a judgment on you, those last for a decade and can be renewed for a second decade and allows them to garnish your wages, your bank account, and place a lien on your home. You should definitely take care of those ones. One more thing, the collectors at your bank credit union are not the same as collectors who work for collections agencies. They aren't paid based on what they recover. They are actually there to try to come up with a solution to help you and save the institution from taking a loss. They aren't going to be mean to you. They just want to know what's going on and when you can make another payment and how much. When you avoid is when they become aggressive. If you see yourself having a financial difficulty, just call and talk to someone. A lot of times they can help you out before you even go past due. Preschool teacher. Your kids will tell on you. They will slip little things into regular conversation that you would prefer we did not know about you. Things like, my dad is sad, all we do at home is watch TV, and mommy and daddy said I can't play in the chest anymore because that's where they keep their toys. Yep, that's right. They even tell us about your kink. The thing is, Unless you consistently show yourself to be a crappy parent, we are not going to judge you for those things. The kids usually share these things because they feel safe with us and trust us. B. There is some piece of info in their revelation that is truly important to them. And or C. They are trying to make sense of adult actions with a child's mind. We know this and will take the information, so please give us the same benefit of the doubt that we afford you. I walked into the preschool just in time to overhear my son telling his teacher that we don't feed him. She could see my face when he said that and laughed until tears came. It didn't help that the boy was skinny as a beanpole. Thrift store employee, we legitimately just make up prices. So if you think the price is too high, ask us to change it. You are 100% more likely to get the deal by asking for one than you are by taking the tag off and asking us how much it costs. When you take the tag off, we are likely to charge you more than you would have paid in the first place, just because you've added extra work for us and we're aggravated and we hate you now. Embryologist, your chance of achieving pregnancy after the age of 42 without the use of donor eggs is almost non-existent. The answer to life. It all makes sense now. Clear your cookies before and after searching for flights holidays. Online advertising specialist. Get out of the way. Paramedic. Game tester. Crap is boring as frick. Paid horribly, and not stable. You get laid off once game comes out. If you want to stop enjoying video games, get into game testing. I work as a contractor for the government. There is a lot of classified information on the internet, specifically Wikipedia, that isn't taken down, because then people would know that it's classified. Would love an example. Personal trainer, there is no easy way to get in shape. Chemist, no, I do not cook em. Yes, I could cook em. No, I do not cook em. Episode 2, I do cook em. EMT, don't lie to me. If you're on something, you're pregnant, you had a couple drinks, or whatever it might be, not telling me means you won't be treated correctly, which means you could die. I'm here to help you, and that's it. Oh, and don't be a dong to the guy in charge of your medical decisions. That crap should be a given. Service desk. If they tell you to do something, do it. If they ask you to read out the error message, do not paraphrase it. Especially don't lie or exaggerate it to get better or faster help. It makes it far more embarrassing when you get caught, which you will, because you have no idea what you're talking about. As a healthcare employee, have some form of advanced directives. These are a set of guidelines for hospitals to follow your wishes. These include things like what kind of treatment you expect to receive, and to what extent. I'll grant you that advanced directives, most generally DNR/DNI, do not resuscitate, do not intubate, are only really needed when matters are most dire and the patient is unable to speak for themselves. That said, if the idea of living hooked up to a machine for the rest of your life does not sound appealing to you, then you're much better off having this notarized document on file somewhere. Without these orders, any medical facility is obliged to break as many ribs and stick as many tubes in you as they can to keep you alive, even if only by the grace of ventilators and chemicals innumerable. Something that is also a good idea, though I've actually only seen it once, is to have a paper or card of some kind. This gentleman had a neatly folded printout in his wallet, detailing any and all medical conditions he had been diagnosed with, as well as every medication he was on with the prescribed doses. Upon admission to a hospital, there are a battery of questions and tests that are administered, but having a clear list of what's going on makes all of that moot, especially if you're in the unfortunate situation of being unable to communicate. At the very least, everybody should have a healthcare proxy. This is a person who knows and understands your wishes, and has the legal authority to act in your stead when it comes to such choices. I am unsure as to the process required to name somebody your healthcare proxy, as there is documentation that goes along with it that must be notarized, but I'm sure any lawyers out there would have all the details. TLDR. Should you ever need hospitalization and are unable to speak for yourself, make sure your wishes are known by another party who has legal authority to make decisions for you, or at least have a piece of paper that details your wishes so that doctors know what you expect in case you can't tell them yourselves. Lawyer. I do not consent to a search. Memorize this. Pizza guy. Please put on some dang pants when you come to the door. Turn your fricking lights on. Archaeology. I do not dig up dinosaurs. I wanted to say Anthropology. No, I don't dig up bones. See. Social worker. Don't judge people based on appearance. Yes, there are people with mental illnesses and addictions who can be very difficult to deal with, but that doesn't mean all of them are difficult. Some of them are really pleasant people to be around. Also, just because someone lives at a shelter or in low-income housing doesn't automatically mean they abuse alcohol or drugs. Maybe they are just going through a rough patch or were placed in a crappy situation in life. School psychologist. If your kid seems withdrawn, depressed and says things like "I wish I could just disappear" or "I hate my life," it's not for attention. Talk with him, her, and seek out people like me if you're concerned. Don't ignore it or make excuses. Thanks. I work in podiatry. Don't get diabetes. My boyfriend went in to see a podiatrist and she asked if she could take pictures of his feet to show at a conference. Ouch. Hi, farmer here. We're not, nor can we afford to be stupid rednecks hillbillies. We run big businesses. We need to be capable and up to date with the latest technology, varieties, chemicals, animal husbandry and research. We manage our own finance and must have our fingers on the pulse of world markets, trends and politics. Please don't treat me like I'm an idiot when I tell you what I do. Show farmers some respect because we feed you. Airline pilot here. Turbulence. It feels way worse down the back than it actually is. If you could watch the flight deck instruments while being bounced around, you'd see that even though it feels like you're climbing 100s of feet every couple of seconds, the airplane rarely budges from its assigned altitude by more than 10-20 feet, which isn't a lot. Think of a big truck or lorry driving on a fast, smooth road, then suddenly hitting a bit of rough dirt or gravel track. Certainly it will get bumpy, but the truck will keep going in a straight line and won't fall to bits. Turbulence definitions. Light turbulence. I don't care but you might spill your coffee. Moderate turbulence. I can't write the crossword answers in straight. Seatbelt signs go on. Severe turbulence. I can't read the crossword clues so I have to put down the newspaper. This may necessitate changing altitude to find some smoother so I can continue with the crossword. Hope this helps. Train conductor. For frick's sakes, stop when the lights start blinking at rail crossings. Also, once the train passes, look down the other track, if there is one. Most trains, American freight trains at least, are 5,010,000 feet long. A lot of the time we are running along around 70 miles per hour. You won't be waiting there long. 1 to 2 minutes. Of course we aren't all going to be going 70. You may have 5-10 minutes there. Take a break. Look at some graffiti. Look down the other track, if there is one. Because the gates can be full sometimes by one train just clearing, and another approaching. If I hit you, I will kill you. After I've hit you, I have to survey the wreckage and attempt right, first aid on you and whoever was unfortunate enough to be a passenger in your car. My first aid kit has 3 feet of gauze, rubber gloves, a box of band-aids, and some alcohol wipes. You will not survive. If you're going to commit suicide, please find another method besides standing in front of me. Please don't kill yourself. But if you are, trains are not a pleasant way to go and I don't want to watch it. My wife gets my paycheck. I do this to wave at kids. Hopefully not too buried. PC repair. If I ask you if you did something inside your computer, please just tell me. Don't be embarrassed to admit you were poking around inside the case and might have messed something up. We've all done it at some point, even the professionals. All you do by insisting you didn't do anything wrong is make my job take longer and the bill much larger. Frito-Lay machine operator. All that air in your bag of chips is there to ensure you don't end up with a pile of crumbs rather than whole chips. Chemist. Always add acid to water, not water to acid, especially strong acids. And base is equivalently as dangerous as acid, but feels like soap so you don't notice it. Yeah, that soapy feeling is the base breaking down your skin. Horse trainer. A horse is not like a dog. One bad mistake can kill you. That's because a horse is the weight of a sizable car. Grocery store clerk. Please Please be patient. I see 200 plus people a day. I have to scan over 300 coupons, sometimes up to 1000. Our store has over 2000 items, at least 300 in produce alone. I can't remember all the clue codes. I can't know off the top of my head if your coupon is going to work. I am not a magician and I can only do things so fast. I feel like people don't realize just how stressful being a cashier is. I worked at a Sam's Club, and on a bad day I saw about $10k go through my register on a 6-ish hour shift, minus lunch. It could be over $20k on a busy day with high priced items. Then, after all that, I need to be missing less than $5 over a month. It's stressful. Bank teller. The reason we put the pen on a chain isn't because we're afraid you'll steal it. It's so that we don't have to go searching for a pen every time a customer comes in. Sometimes people absent-mindedly walk out with pens and sometimes we misplace them. However, I work at a small town bank and we don't have computers at every teller window. In walking back and forth between computers and windows, a ridiculous amount of pens can be lost. I'm sure other banks don't have this problem. You've just answered something I'd always vaguely wondered about but never given much thought to. Thank you. Wetland scientist. If you smell farts, it's a wetland. Graphic designer. Use spell check. And for God's sake also use spell check. And you'll hate the just use the enhance button joke. As a teacher, most of us want to see you succeed in class, even if it's only to make ourselves look better. If you really want to work with us, set some time aside and we'll return the favor. Also, no smart butt kid is worth being fired. Teachers aren't out to get you. Psychotherapist. You don't need anyone's permission, not even your own mind's, to live a life full of the things that matter to you. Happiness is not the absence of pain, but rather the willingness to ride out the painful bits in order to live the life you want. I work in IT support. Most of the things you ask, I don't know. I use Google. Corollary. Most people don't really understand how to use Google to fix IT related problems and think you are some sort of genius for being able to wrangle useful information out of it. Moral. If you search for printer doesn't work, you're gonna have a bad time. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.